Disney Renaissance era had such good reviews. I was like, I need it to look professional, but I also want to look stylish. I hear you, chicken. I hear you, Michael. So, all right. Hello and welcome to week 4 of my end of summer glow up series. This is the final week. I cannot believe it, and I am feeling really good about all of the changes that I have made. But before I get into that, if you are new here, welcome on in. My name is Brooke. I'm 28 years old. I live in North Carolina with my husband, and on this channel, I like to talk about personal finances, lifestyle, and just being in your 20s. So if you like that kind of content, I would love if you subscribed and joined us over here. So for the past 3 weeks, I've been going through different weekly challenges and trying to keep those challenges going consistently over the next following weeks. So week 1 was to get in more steps, 8 to 10K a day. Week 2 was to limit my phone screen time, bringing my average down by 1 hour. Last week, my goal was to have a consistent wake up time. All of these goals I have, done in various degrees. So if you want to see like how those went throughout that time, I will leave a link down to my vlogs playlist so you can see all of those. But this week, I think I am going to do calorie tracking. Now, I know that this is not always easy for everyone, especially if you have had issues with disordered eating in the past. So I am not doing this at all to try and do anything that really is going to be dramatic. I am not trying to go into like an insane calorie deficit where I only eat like 1,000 calories, because that's unsustainable and unhealthy, and I do not recommend that. You should definitely be eating well to fuel your body, because you only have one body. You should treat it well. And so this calorie tracking every day is more about me just making sure that I am hitting my macros. I'm really not going to be caring about the overall calorie tracking. In my FitnessPal app, I'm really going to focus on the macro tracking and making sure that I hit my protein goals and I stay under my sugar and fat goals, because I really want to make sure that I eat healthier. I feel like in this past month, I've been eating a lot of things that are not great for my body, like dairy. I usually try to stick to leaner meats like chicken and fish, turkey, those kinds of things. But I have been, having fun because it's the end of the summer, but I really want to get back into my healthy eating routine. And one of the things that my husband and I talked about is maybe bringing back in one meatless meal a week for our dinners. And I think that's also good for the environment too. So if you still want to eat meat, that's totally fine. But if you can challenge yourself to like have one meal a week that is meatless, it does help your overall carbon emissions. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start trying that. And I have a lot of great vegan recipes that I can bring back up from that time. And I really loved eating that way. And it's also cheaper to, eat plant proteins. So we are going to be doing that. We're going to be tracking our macros and our calories. And I don't have like a specific number of how many calories I'm trying to eat per day. Again, it's more about making sure I hit those macronutrient levels, hitting those macros that I want, and focusing on overall healthy eating rather than calorie tracking specifically. But that's just the easiest way for me to know what my macros are going to be. So let's get on with the day. I will go ahead and show you what I'm going to be eating for lunch. And for dinner, we are going to have turkey burgers and salad and some fries. So that'll be really delicious. It is now Thursday, and yesterday after we came back from the gym, we made turkey burgers and fries for dinner. We didn't do the salad kit, but that's okay because we're actually going to be eating the salad kit tonight. And what we're going to be doing is adding in some grilled chicken so that we have a complete meal. And for breakfast today, I had a protein yogurt bowl. It's one of my favorite things that I like to eat in the morning times. It is just plain non-fat Greek yogurt, some berries. So I did strawberries today. I like to use protein granola for added protein, and also some chocolate chips and some honey. So it's very basic but very yummy. And because we buy the plain version of the Greek yogurt, we actually use it as a substitute for sour cream a lot. So it's a versatile ingredient. So in total, that actually brought my protein for my breakfast to 29 grams. And I had a conversation with a nutritionist last year. I did like one session of a nutritional counseling session, and she told me to aim for 20 to 30 grams per meal, and then 5 to 10 grams of protein per snack. So I really try to do that, try to hit my 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So that is really good that I got in my 29 grams of protein for breakfast already. We are going to have a great day because today is the Rector concert. I'm so excited. We're going to go to that after work. But now I just have to hop on to work. We are getting so close to our deadlines. So I am working up a storm, but I'm so excited because yesterday I got one of my coding issues solved, and that's really great. So we have that fixed, which it honestly took me like a week to fix. It was such an annoying bug, but it's okay. We got it to work. And so now I am moving on to other things. We are just going to have a great day and get on with our stuff.
When I go the distance, I'll be right where I belong.
Good morning. It is Friday and I just got out of a work meeting, so I don't have another meeting until this afternoon. But I'm feeling a little bit of a slump, so I'm gonna make myself a Dalgona coffee. I have made it a couple of times throughout my vlogging stuff, but if you don't know what it is, it's a super easy way to make like a fun iced coffee at home without having like one of those like really expensive Breville espresso machines. So this is what I like to do, and I'm just feeling like I need to pick me up because the concert was so fun last night, and that's why my voice sounds a little raspy. I was singing the words to everything. A Rector concert is so fun. If you listen to his music and you like his type of music, he's so good live. He's such a great performer. He actually messed up the words to one of the songs that he was singing, and so then he just started ad-libbing, and he was like, I messed up the words, and it was just so funny. And he always does like a fun special song that's like not his song, but he has like the license to sing it because it's obviously a live concert. He can do that. And the song that he chose to sing last night was Go the Distance from Hercules. And Hercules, the animated movie, was like one of my all-time favorite Disney movies growing up. Like, I watched it so much. I really liked it. I loved the music in it. I loved the story in it. And it really, I honestly, I've got to be honest with y'all. That's probably why, like, so many people in my generation are, like, obsessed with mythology and all that kind of stuff because of that movie. Like, gosh, it was, like, 10 out of 10. The Disney Renaissance era had such good movies. And so, yeah, that one was, like, one of my favorites. And Megara, I loved her character. I thought she was such a bad A. And also, like, the Greek choir was so good. They were so good. So, it was so fun to hear him do that. He did a mashup between that and his song 30,000 Feet. And, so good. This is all you have to do for the Dalgona. 1 tablespoon of instant coffee, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of hot water. And then I have this little frother, so I'm just going to use my little frother. But if you don't have a frother, I mean, you can do this by hand, but it takes a little bit longer. And then you just froth it up to your desired level. And it's really sweet, too. So, like, if you're more of a sweet drink person, because you don't like that, like, regular coffee taste, like the bitterness of it, like, this is pretty good because of the tablespoon of sugar really does help. Also, let me know if you guys like me talking while I'm doing things. rather than just doing like a talking head video where I'm sitting on my couch in there. I like using my hands and stuff like that. I like having something that I'm actively doing during a video. I think it just like adds a little bit of dynamic motion to the video. So let me know if you guys like that. And then I add some milk to my cup. Oh my gosh, I love this cup. I got it at GalaxyCon. It's so cute. K-pop Demon Hunters. I've been drinking out of it like obsessively because I love it so much. But I just fill it up with milk, like a good portion, like probably like halfway through, maybe a little bit more. Really just depends on how much you want to drink at this time, because that definitely dilutes it. And then you just pour your dalgona right on top of the milk. And I need to get out a spoon because this does not pour very well. So let's get out a spoon and get all of this good caffeine, sugar stuff all into here. Oh my gosh, this is so loud. Sorry. And then once you put that in with the milk, you just gonna mix it all the way up. And it makes this like delicious color, like a nice caramelly color. Let's get back to work. And also tonight I will finally get my hair cut. I know I said in my last video that I was gonna get my hair cut, and I did not happen because I got canceled on twice. So hopefully tonight will be my lucky golden time and I can get these curtain bangs under control. So let's have a good rest of our Friday. Hello, good evening. It is Saturday and it has been a really fun day. We did a lot of stuff today. This morning we woke up early so we could do our chores, and then we went to the mall because I got a $50 gift card to American Eagle and I wanted to buy one new item for my work trip. So I got this like really cute black and white top that I'm gonna be able to wear on my work trip. I was like, I need it to look professional, but I also want to look stylish. And we also bought my husband a new button down as well. So after we did that, we went over to Aldi and did our usual grocery shopping. And then we went to Food Line because there are just some things we can't pick up at Aldi, and that's okay. So if you have one in your area, I definitely recommend checking it out. So after we did our grocery shopping, we came back and then we just sat around for a few hours after we put away our groceries, and my husband was continuing to play Expedition 33. And I just like to sit here and watch him play it because I'm invested in the storyline of Expedition 33, but like I tried to play it and I was really bad at the combat, to be honest. There is this element of timing, and if you time things correctly, you can dodge attacks and you can parry attacks, and I'm just really bad at that. So I've just been watching him play it because there's so many cutscenes in this and they're all fully voice acted, so it's just so fun to watch. But in terms of my macros, I think I'm doing fairly okay today. Like I didn't try to like do too crazy with it. Today we had pancakes for breakfast, and then for lunch I just had some of my leftover Mediterranean lentil soup. I love Progresso soup. I think it's probably the best canned soup that you can buy. All of their protein cans have at least 15 to 20 grams of protein per can. So that one, the Mediterranean lentil, is really good. So I had my leftovers of that because I made that for lunch yesterday. And then for dinner, we did order out because we had our outside worship night for church and we had to go there and help set up, and we were singing and stuff like that. So then after we were done with that and we left, we decided that we were going to order some takeout from one of our favorite Thai restaurants in the area, Hope Cafe. And so what I did was I just called them and I was like, hey, I want to make an order for pickup. Like, it sounds so silly to like tell people that that's what they can do, because I feel like everybody's just like, oh, you should just like order on DoorDash, like on the app and that kind of stuff, and like you can still do pickup that way. And I'm just like, yeah, but DoorDash is still taking their cut. The meal that I got is like $16, and on the DoorDash app, it's $20. So like they really upcharge you to use the convenience of the app and order it through there. And I just find it to be like way faster just to like call the person up on the phone. And, you know, it's just small business, and every time I call, it's always like the same guy. So I think he's like the owner. He's really nice, and he would just always be like, okay, what do you want? And I just tell him, and he's like, okay, name for the order. And then I just go and I pay when I get there and the food is ready for me to pick up. So save yourself the hassle of going through the DoorDash app. So that's pretty much what we did today. And also when I got home, I got an email. I have these old magazines and I was just trying to get them out of my parents' basement because they're like, we want to clean up our basement. We have all these magazines, you know, from your childhood sitting in the basement, like basically in like a shoebox. Like what do you want to do with them? And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can try and resell them. And so earlier this year, that's what I did when me and my husband went and visited my parents. We just like brought them home. And so when we did that, I put them up for resale on eBay. And I also put them up for resale on Facebook Marketplace. And some of them sold super fast on Facebook Marketplace. Like I had a bunch of Nintendo Power magazines because I was like a super Nintendo like nerdy girl. Wow, I'm waxing poetic tonight in this video. It's like this is our nightly gab session because my husband is hanging out with his friends. So I'm hanging out with you guys. You are my friends. And anyway, so I listed them on eBay. I didn't really get any hits on eBay. I listed them on Facebook Marketplace. And so I was just like, I have these from 2006 to 2011. And this one guy messaged me and he was all like, hey, you know, I live like 30 minutes away. I want to buy all of them for this price. And I was all like, cash is cash. Okay. And so my husband like met up with him because where he lived was close to where my husband works. And so he made the change. He got the money. And so I was like, okay, I sold my magazines. I'm good. And so I sold one more magazine on eBay, like right after I had gotten this. And this was like back in early March, maybe like February, maybe even late February. And so I sold one on eBay. And so I mailed it to the person. I think they like were in Pennsylvania or whatever. So I just like, you know, paid for the shipping label and I put it in a manila envelope and I shipped it out. And then when we got home tonight, I get an email from eBay that says, your item has been sold. And I'm like, what? I forgot that this is even listed on eBay. I was like, okay. When you sell things on eBay, like you do have a time limit for when you have to ship things out. So I was like, okay. And they like paid for shipping. So I like went ahead through the eBay thing and I went ahead and printed out this packing slip and I found another manila envelope and I put it in there. So I'm going to mail that out on Monday to that person. But like, I was just like, that's so crazy. I totally forgot about that. So I feel pretty good about that. So, you know, if you have things laying around your house, which I know we all do, and you want to make a quick buck, like try and put it on Facebook Marketplace, try and sell it on eBay. Like people like this stuff. And there will be buyers. Like I know it was like I had it on there for like 6 months, but like it's sold. I'm gonna go to the post office and put it in the post box and it'll be all good. It'll go out to the person. And so your miles may vary, but if you have things around your house, if you have things around your parents' house or your grandparents' house that you're just like, hey, you know, this was like from my childhood and I'm not ever really gonna use it again. It's taking up space. Like making a little bit of extra cash never hurts. So yeah, that was fun. I feel like this week is kind of like all over the place in terms of like that goal that I'm setting, like the tracking calories, because I just don't want to be so, I don't want to like pressure you all into like thinking that this is like a way to like be healthier, to like track. Because I really think that everyone's body is different, everyone has different caloric needs. But it's really, for me, it's more about making sure that I eat a healthy range of foods and I'm not depriving myself. I'm not like just eating junk food, that kind of stuff. So I really believe in intuitive eating and fueling your body with the stuff that makes you feel good. That's why I don't want to like share with you guys like too much about like, oh, this is how many calories I ate, this is what I ate and everything like that, because it just, everybody is at a different place in their health journey. Everybody is at a different place with their diet. So like I don't want people to like look at what I'm eating and be like, this is what I need to eat too in order to look like her. That is what we did today. Tomorrow is going to be another packed day. We are going to go to church early in the morning and then we have Bible study tomorrow evening. So I am going to be making some baked beans. I'm going to use my dad's recipe for them. And we're going to have a cookout. So that will be fun. We are going to have a good rest of our weekend so that on Monday we can be refreshed and ready to go. Good morning. Today is Monday, and yesterday we had a really good day. We went to church early because we needed to help set up, and then after church we came home. We didn't eat lunch yesterday because we knew that we were going to be going to Bible study later that evening, and there was going to be a lot of food there, so we held off and we had a couple of little snacks. And then at Bible study, we had so many different options of food. It was really all yummy. I was just really impressed with everything. So we brought baked beans and it was a hit. Everybody really liked that. And so I really love sharing meals with friends. I just feel like that is probably one of the most fun things that you can do. A lot of times in this modern world where we're like, oh, we're gonna hang out with friends, it's like, oh, let's go to a restaurant, let's go get coffee, let's do all this stuff. And it adds up. And so for me, having a time where we go over to a friend's house, we each bring a dish and share that just makes it feel so cozy. And I just really think that people should invest more in that kind of relationships because it just feels like so life-giving to have that time. And I know that not everybody has the luxury of like being able to cook and make food and bring it over, so sometimes it is easier to go to a restaurant and things like that. But if you have friends that are, close in town and you're able to do that, like a potluck is always one of my go-to things. I really love doing potlucks, but that is what I had for dinner yesterday, and I am so full and it was so good. This morning we woke up early, but we didn't go to the gym, but we did do like an at-home workout. So we did like a high intensity interval training thing where we did a circuit called 10, 20, 30. And so you do 10 push-ups, 20 squats, and 30 crunches. And so we did that 5 times. And honestly, that was a lot. My heart rate got up and I was like really feeling it. So I'm glad that we at least got a little bit of motion in. And then we made breakfast really quickly. When we have like a quick breakfast day, we usually like to do protein shakes and a bagel. So I like to get the Orgain protein. Orgain protein is a plant-based protein because with regular protein, because it's made out of whey, it is not good for people who are lactose intolerant. So I always get the plant-based protein powders. And so we had that with some oat milk. And then with the bagels, I really love Miyoko's. I think I've talked about Miyoko's before, but I really love that entire brand of plant-based cheeses. And we had the Miyoko's cream cheese on top of the bagels, and chef's kiss. But today we've got a lot going on. I have a therapy session at noon and I have a couple of work meetings today. So I really got to get going because we are 1 week out from our work trip and I am feeling the deadlines coming. But before that, I have to quickly run to the post office so I can drop off that J14 magazine that I sold on eBay. So I will take you along for that. All right, so since this vlog and this week is really focused about eating well, getting my macros in, I'm actually going to show you what we are meal prepping for lunches. We like to meal prep lunches on Sundays, but because of our Bible studies that's been happening on Sundays, we haven't had time to do that. But that's totally okay. We are going to do that today. And so what we are going to be making is some chicken fried rice. We are big fans of chicken fried rice. It's a super easy recipe and it has a lot of good nutrients in it. You've got the veggies, you've got all of the good lean protein, and you've got your complex carbs with the rice. So what we are going to do first is we're going to defrost the chicken, and then once it's defrosted, we are going to cut it up into cubes, and then we will start pan frying it, and I will make the sauce while I'm waiting for everything to defrost. So my husband and I really go cost effective with things, so we like to go to Aldi, and we usually just get the frozen bag of chicken breast. I know that it's probably like not the most organic or, you know, the best, but I like it. I think it's fine. And because we're making this for lunches, we're going to make 8 servings. And so when it comes to 8 servings, I like to do about 3 ounces of chicken per serving. So I'm actually going to get out my food scale and weigh this out, so that I can make sure that I have the right amount of chicken for our overall meals. So this is the food scale that we use. We just bought it off of Amazon a few years ago. It's totally fine. It's really nice. It comes with like a tray, but like obviously we don't use the tray all the time. So what I do is I like to, you know, put things on the plate, because I'm going to go ahead. This is a microwave safe plate. I'm going to microwave the chicken on this. So what I do to make sure that I can use this is I put it on here, and then there's a little button to tare it, which basically means that you're resetting the weight that's showing on the scale, so that the plate weight doesn't interfere with what you're actually weighing. So let's put those 2 chicken on there. That's 15.37, so that's not enough. We need to do 24 ounces for 8 servings with 3 ounces apiece, so let's see what we get there. That's 23.6. Okay, so basically we're using the rest of this bag. So that'll take about 13 minutes to run, but that will give us enough time to prep our sauce. So definitely have to put some oyster sauce in there, and I also love the Japanese barbecue sauce. I think I've talked about this like so many times, but I really love the Japanese barbecue sauce. I think it has a great flavor. So we're going to use those 2. And then you need to do soy sauce, and we're almost out of soy sauce, so we need to get some more, but we'll have enough for this. So we do soy sauce, and then I like it a little spicy, so I have this gochujang. You don't have to use gochujang, which is Korean chili flakes. You can just use regular red chili, or if you don't like spiciness, you can leave it out. We also want to do some white pepper. We also have very little white pepper left, so I'm going to just use all of this. And then we need to add a little bit of sugar. So because a lot of these are pretty salty, like we don't want to add any extra salt to our mix. So that's why we're going to go with these items. Honestly, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I just like to measure with my heart. I would say, you know, because we're making 8 servings, we're going to need a good amount of sauce to cover everything. So let's do like, you know, like 1/8 of a cup of oyster sauce. So now that we've got the oyster sauce in here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to basically use the rest of this soy sauce. So we're going to pour that in. And this recipe that I got for this, I kind of like have a mixture of like, there's a lot of different Asian cooking places online that I like to look up. So I use a lot of theirs, but I've kind of just like made my sauce my own. And I mean, you know, you can get a stir fry sauce, like you can get like a fried rice sauce already, but like it's gonna be like all this stuff. 5 Spice is also like a really good ingredient. This is by no means like the healthiest like sauce, but it's delicious. I love it. I think it's really good. This made about 2/3 of a cup of sauce, which I think for 8 servings, I think, you know, 2/3 will be good. Oh my gosh, I was sneezing from the pepper. You want it to be like a nice pouring consistency, so because you're gonna pour this all over the rice. For this recipe, I'm going to be using just a bag of frozen veggies, but I also have some fresh vegetables that I'm also gonna throw in here. So this is just the steamed vegetable mix from Aldi. We are also going to use up these fresh mushrooms that we have though. So I'm going to take these fresh mushrooms, I'm going to wash them, and I'm going to cut them up. So I like everything in my fried rice to be about the same size. That's another part of Chinese cooking that is really great vegetables, because traditionally, you know, in East Asian specifically, and South Asian culture as well, most East Asian cultures, so, you know, China, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, anyone that we usually chopsticks, you don't have, you know, knives to eat food. So that's why when you go to Chinese restaurants, everything's like nicely diced beforehand, because you won't have a knife access to it. I love cooking. I think it's probably like one of my things. And I really like the channel Dollar Tree Dinners with Rebecca. I think that she's a super sweet person. And I really love like her things that she makes because she does a lot of like classic food that, you know, anyone can really make and anyone can like follow along with her recipes. It's very approachable. One of the things that she said is like the reason why she likes doing her channel and things like that is because cooking is her pretty much it's her hobby. Like she loves to cook, and like it is a privilege to like even enjoy cooking and have time to cook. I have a lot more free time on my hands, but I think the reason why I love cooking is just because I love making food and sharing it with other people, and I do find cooking to be one of my hobbies. We are also going to be adding in some eggs, so we'll do scrambled eggs in the fried rice. That's classic. The chicken just went off. I hear you, chicken. I hear you, Michael. So we're gonna go ahead and cut up the chicken next. So let's see how the chicken is looking in terms of, yep, that chicken is ready. I gotta be careful with this. Okay, so a little bit, this one's still a little frozen because it was on the top. It does have like, there is some icy chunks, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, let's get this going. This is on high heat. I'm just gonna go in with some vegetable oil. Let me get out, I will use this. We don't have a plastic spatula anymore. Our plastic spatula, like, one, it was starting to really flake, so we were worried about microplastics, but two, it broke off its handle, so we're not using them. So I'm trying to use like my bamboo utensils, wood utensils. I'm not 100% sure if these are made of bamboo. I think some of the stuff I have are made of bamboo. Not sure if these are. I've had them for a really long time. So I don't know. I think wood is better. I'm not. Don't quote me on any of this stuff. I just read the headlines and it said like black plastic utensils, don't use them. So like these things, like these type of black plastic, I'm like, okay. Like, it's cancer causing. I'm like, everything in life is cancer causing. Wow, I'm gonna cut that out of the video. No one needs to hear my existential dread. So, because we're gonna put so much of that nice sauce that we made onto everything else, I'm not going to go too crazy with the chicken. Oh my goodness. I've actually been told that my fried rice is good by other people. Like, we made my worship pastor, we made her and her son some of this, and they really liked it. They really enjoyed it. So I have been told that this is an approved recipe by other people. Pretty oily, and I don't want the chicken to be too oily. Okay, so now we've got the chicken all nice and lightly browned. And now I'm going to go in with the mushrooms and the mixed vegetables. Now we will season this up. Again, I'm just keeping the seasoning light because most of the seasoning comes from our delicious sauce. Yeah, so this is going to take a while because we did use frozen veggies, so we have to let the water, you know, cook out of it and everything. Okay, who's trying to call me in the middle of my video? Someone's trying to call me while I was filming. Okay, let's see how many eggs we have in this carton. 3. Okay, so 3 eggs in this carton, and then I'll take one more from the other carton. So, crack it on the clean surface. My dad taught me how to do an egg one-handed, like how to crack an egg one-handed, but I think partially the problem that I have with it, doing that, is I have a small hand. Alright, let's attempt to do the one thing. Okay, I kind of did it. See, it's the problem with like the small hands. So what you want to do is you want to make a well, and these have definitely cooked down, so that's good, and the water has gone out of them, but they're not. I turned on the heat so that they wouldn't burn. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon about it for the eggs, and then we'll use a couple tablespoons for that. So we're going to let the butter melt down, so let's bring the heat down. Do is we are going to add back in our chicken. Right. Once I put in the rice, I'm just not gonna have any room. So let's do that. Let's change over the pan. Now what we're our refrigerated rice. Now let's just enjoy that shot. Good morning. It is Tuesday, which means it's the final day of my end of summer glow up challenge, week 4. That is so crazy. The last 4 weeks have been really kind of a roller coaster of emotions, of work, everything. And I just feel like I really tried to make the most of my summertime. And I had such a good time on this journey. In terms of what I have learned, I think that this would be a great time to kind of just reflect back on how things went with this challenge. And, you know, for those of you who haven't been following along, or if this is your first video that you're seeing from me, I just wanted to challenge myself to be in a better place by the end of summer. Not in like any kind of like major overhaul, but more like sustainable changes that I can continue to take throughout the rest of this year. So I focused on my screen time, I focused on my step count, I focused on waking up at a consistent time and having good sleep hygiene, and I focused on making sure that I was counting my macros and tracking what I ate. And in terms of those goals, I feel like I have varying degrees of success on all of them. And it has definitely been more difficult as I've gotten really busy with work to make those a priority and to also stack them on top of each other. So, you know, I just want to be transparent with you all that this was not an easy challenge. Like, I wanted to like go into this and be like, oh, every day I'm gonna just like keep moving forward and get 1% better every day. But you know, there was a lot of backsliding. There was a lot of me like not doing what I said that I would do because I was tired and making excuses for myself. And I think that at this point in my life, I feel okay with not everything being perfect, which is very hard to admit as someone who definitely grew up as a perfectionist and always striving to get A's in school and everything like that. It's just good for me and my growth as a human being to recognize that I will never be perfect at things, and that really it only matters that I did set goals that I did work towards, and it did help me to be more mindful, especially of my phone screen time. I think that was the biggest one that was really helpful, because before I just really didn't pay attention to that at all. But throughout these past 3 weeks, when I started that part of the challenge, I've really been more mindful about how often am I turning to my phone, how long am I on my phone, and that kind of stuff. And I think that that was a really positive change. And I just want to continue these habits into the future, even if I'm not going to do them perfectly. I want to make sure that I am still pushing myself out of my comfort zone, that I am holding myself to account, and just realizing that life is going to life. And sometimes you're just not going to feel your best. So I really hope that these last few videos were fun for you all. It was fun for me to film what I was doing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of the support. And as always, if you made it this far to the video, please comment down below what is your favorite fall activity, because fall is coming up. So I am excited to show off some of the fall activities that I'm going to be doing. And please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, y'all.